Okay. Hopefully I can edit this out later. So, here is a video on a trending topic from somebody who doesn't do YouTube, doesn't know anybody on YouTube, is of no one and of any great importance, really. I just didn't search a lot. I guess maybe I should search some more, but I just wanted to voice my opinion about the whole Shane Dawson pedophilia thing. Um, do I think his behavior towards children was very inappropriate? Not inappropriate, very inappropriate. Yes. Um, D'Angelo Wallace is where I'm getting most of my opinion from. Now, again, I did look some more beyond that, but he made a very good, concise, not super long video about the most of it. My cat. No, come here. You're going to unplug everything. Ah! Okay. My tiny gremlin is trying to unplug my electronics. It's okay. Okay. Anyways, so he made a very concise, very clear video about the whole topic, but seemed confused about Shane Dawson's behavior towards children while saying that he didn't think that Shane had actually harmed a child at any point. And that the closest he had ever come to that was the incident with his younger niece, who was 12. They were discussing sexual things. Um, and he's not wrong. You know, he's not wrong. That whole video, like, again, if you want a good, solid opinion, go see D'Angelo Wallace. He's going to sum it all up beginning to end. Because even I didn't know what was going on until a few weeks ago. My sister told me, she was like, didn't you hear everyone on YouTube got canceled? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson. She was like, all of YouTube just got canceled. So I get on YouTube and I start seeing these videos and I'm like, oh, okay. So I have to find out what's going on. So let me wrap everything back around to what I was saying. Quite a few videos later, figuring out that Shane Dawson was molested as a child. Something I did know, he came from a poor white family. Maybe not poor, but poorer. Kind of like lower middle class. If such a thing even exists anymore. Maybe back when he was a kid. But with him having been molested as a child, I can tell you from witnessing people who have been victims of sexual child abuse, or abuse in general, and you are trying to kill the fish now. Get off the fish tank. Okay. Okay. And just in case anyone's wondering, his name is Finn. Chances are with this being YouTube, they're going to see the cat and go, oh, kitty, and care about that. More than anything else about that I'm going to say in this video. Gosh, I cannot talk. But again, I just really needed to voice that opinion, or this opinion, that opinion. Like I'd already said it. I wish. It'd be nice. Hopefully I get most of this in editing later. Anyways. So, you know, the cycle of abuse. The abuser, or well, the abusee eventually becomes the abuser. See it in domestic violence. Get off the fish tank. No. The abused victim, the victim becomes the abuser. You know, not always, but it happens. You know, my dad beat my mom. Now I beat my wife. Blah, blah, blah. You know, pardon me. And I would say you see that in some pedophilia instances you see that in some instances with inappropriate sexual behavior around children, and not necessarily from adults, but maybe other children around. Maybe when it's children around children, you have some children who have been sexually abused. You can see some inappropriate behavior. Not that they're hurting each other or actually doing anything to harm each other, but there can be conversations had, things discussed that shouldn't be, especially around kids. No. No, no. Okay. So I think that his odd behavior around children was compounded by two things. One, his history of sexual uh, abuse as a child. Oh, okay, he's fine. And his gross humor, wildly inappropriate humor. Let's step it back. Not even wildly inappropriate humor, wildly inappropriate content that got him somewhere. And I think those two collided in a very inappropriate. I'm going to use that word a lot. I'm going to keep using that word. A very disgusting. There we go. We'll switch it up. In a very disgusting and wrong way. I feel like it was almost an Amy Schumer effect where, I'm going to be as gross as humanly possible because that gets me views. That gets me attention. That is going to further my career. I think it was a mixture of that and the cycle of abuse from where he was molested coming back into play. Inappropriate behavior around children sexually. Now, I'm not in any means or any way trying to justify what he did. Bad. It was wrong. But I wanted to just kind of try and shed some light on maybe how that happened. Because I know a lot of the content out there right now, and if you're just looking at it from a point of view from someone who doesn't know, hasn't been exposed to that kind of thing, you can look at it and say, wow, he's probably a pedophile. He's probably a pedophile. I don't think he is. Again, with D'Angelo Wallace on his channel with his video, I agree with what he said, that I don't honestly think Shane Dawson has harmed a child or will ever harm a child. But his behavior was wildly inappropriate. And again, I think it links back to his abuse, which will cause that. It will cause someone to have, not everyone, I'm not saying it's an every time thing, but there are people out there who have inappropriate behavior around other children with sexual topics because it kind of destroys them mentally as a person and how they view sex. So I don't think that, I think that it caused him to have some very odd, very disgusting interactions with children. And I think the most prominent one that got him national attention, the Willow Smith. The thing that got him the most national attention was his disgusting video clip where he was imitating a sexual act with the poster of Willow Smith. Which again, completely wrong, completely disgusting. I think again that was very much a byproduct of one. I have to call it Amy Schumer. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my limited worldview when it comes to things like that, celebrities, anything else. But it's the I'm gross, I'm funny because I'm gross, and now I'm going to be as gross as possible because that's going to make me funnier. It's going to get me more views. And I think it was a cross section between that and, again, that broken interaction around children due to his sexual abuse. I think it was a very gross intersection of that. So he, now, as an adult, I think, I don't know if he's ever really become so much a Jeffree Star, which, yes, I feel like Jeffree Star has part to play, not in what Shane Dawson did, because Shane Dawson is his own person. When you do things, you, the person, are doing them, not anyone else. Um, but I think Jeffree Star got him wrapped up in all this drama. Jeffree's toxic. And I think Jeffree got wrapped up in all this drama. Doesn't change. Clearly Jeffree Star has not changed. Is older than Shane by a bit. And will never change. I don't think. Maybe one day Jeffree Star may actually turn over a new leaf. And it not just be some stunt or video to regain favorability in the eyes of his fans or in his community that he's in, what have you. But from the point of view of Shane Dawson, I feel like he has actually cooled off a lot of his older material. Now, I could be wrong, and of course, with it being the internet, if anyone does bother to take the time to watch this or even sees it in the first place, will correct me. That's fine. Definitely not all-knowing. And if I was, I wouldn't be making a YouTube video. I would be cashing in that knowledge and sitting on a tropical island somewhere, getting endless drinks and not worrying about anything. Well, maybe worrying about everything because endless knowledge. The implications of that, but back to the conversation at hand. I really think I really think Shane grew up. Not grew out. I feel like he grew up, as a lot of people do when you experience a trauma of some kind or another, that it unfortunately will shape you, will affect you going forward in life, but eventually you can grow past it and grow over it. It just takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. For some people never grow over it, never grow out of it, or not grow out of it, grow past it. Some people never grow past it, and it's not anyone else's place to say they're wrong for doing that. It is someone else's place to say if they're going to hurt themselves or others in any way, they need to go get help. But if it's just something they can't grow past it and it's just hurting them, it's not our place to make them or tell them they're bad. You can't make someone grow. But some people do end up growing over that, getting past it, which getting past it sounds a little insensitive, but it's just another way of saying, they personally developed to the point that they've accepted it, moved on, and became their own person despite what they went through. Which is the best we all can hope for, regardless of what we've been through. And I feel like he's probably grown past that, grown out of it. So I feel like his behavior's probably cooled off. He's probably not the same person he was when he was making those gross videos. Now, the part that is still wrong about that is the fact that if he had grown past it, he didn't go back and erase it. And I understand, I don't know how YouTube works exactly, but I'm sure, he probably would lose some income or something because of that. He would probably lose some income or something because of deleting all those videos. But the thing is, one, he had to do it anyways because of the firestorm he got himself into. Two, if he had grown past that, if he had grown as a person and realized what he did was wrong, it should have been first and foremost to erase those videos. It's one thing to say, as I've seen his apology video, I did something wrong. Did he even really say that? I can't remember. I'm not going to go back and look. But he, you know, he didn't really seem to grow past that. No one likes being told they're wrong either. I guess I'm just really getting off on tangents here. Long story short, really long story short, my little timer says I'm at like 15 and a half minutes. Really long story, kind of condensed down. Shane Dawson's behavior with being inappropriate with children was caused by his misguided attempt to get attention and fame, and his history of sexual abuse, unfortunately. And it was a really unfortunate cross of those two things that I think made the person that we see doing those things that are wrong, will always be wrong. But yes, it's a really unfortunate mixture of those two things. Does he need to grow past it in order to be a healthy person? Yes. In order to leave that all behind him, which, if he values his free time outside of jail, I suggest he does. Because, like D'Angelo Wallace said, if I had kids, I would not want them anywhere near Shane. As I was saying, if I had children, I wouldn't want them anywhere near Shane Dawson, at all, period. And I honestly wouldn't want to associate with anyone who regularly associated with him without denouncing his behavior. I could understand someone being like, oh yeah, I'm still in his corner, but I'm not in his corner to defend him. I'm in his corner to be there when he finally stops screwing up. When he finally apologizes for what he did, I'm there to support him. I'd love to see Shane as a better person. I could understand someone saying that. But someone that just says carte blanche, doesn't matter what he does, he can do nothing wrong, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't even want to be associated with someone who was like that, because he clearly has done some very nasty things that he has not owned up to, and that's not even including, this whole conversation hasn't even included the bestiality claims, which is gross. Like D'Angelo Wallace said, and I'm going to refer back to him a lot. He's intelligent. He did a research paper of a video, essentially. Just very good summarized points with evidence and facts. Which is why I'm referring to him. But the bestiality, again, if you want to look at why someone would do that with a non-consenting animal, children and animals cannot consent to sexual acts. If you want to look at someone or a reason why someone would do that, again, I would link that back to his sexual abuse. I don't know how extensive it was. I haven't read up on it. But I would link a lot of that back to that. That sexual abuse isn't just a one-time thing. It doesn't make them look at something. Get down. Now. It doesn't make someone it's not just that traumatic event. Since it happened when they're a child, it messes up their whole developmental pattern. And especially if it's sexual abuse and not just, physical abuse or mental abuse, it is sexual abuse. You're messing up their perception of sex, their perception of sexual desires. Like, it's all going to be severely screwed up. And if he wasn't helped properly with that, then that's going to result in some of the malbehaviors you see, unfortunately. Does that excuse them? Again, no. I'm going to keep saying that. I just kind of want it to explain, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like so many people have that question, like, how? How is someone like this? How does someone exist like this? And I think that's the answer. The answer I'm trying to give is to just put things into a scope for people to see. And again, still draw your own conclusions. But, you know, so sexual misconduct with animals, inappropriate conversations with minors, gross acts, mentioning children. I feel like that puts it in scope. That clearly his sexual abuse affected him more than he thought, and knowing that he came from a family that didn't have a lot of money, never really mentions his dad, so we're probably talking a single parent home that doesn't have a lot of money. He probably didn't get all the help he needed to help make him a normal adult. Probably just didn't happen. And so you're left with someone who normally, I feel like, without being put into a celebrity status, which is, I mean, you don't want to think of because you think celebrities for red carpets and movies. But to put someone like that in a celebrity status, I feel like maybe he would have developed differently had he not been put in that way. But I feel like, again, the whole celebrity status, the whole having to build his brand, build his identity, you know, and unfortunately he decided to go with gross humor to help build that. Gross, disgusting, unacceptable behavior to build that. I think it never forced him to deal with those things. He never had to go back. I'm sure he's been to therapy, and it's not my place to say he hasn't dealt with them, but I think clearly it hasn't been fully dealt with. I think maybe the act of him being sexually abused as a child has been hashed out with the therapist, but I don't know if anyone stopped Shane and went, hey, look, do you see what this is doing? How this is playing out in your modern life as an adult? What you're doing? How this is working in your life? What this has caused you to do? I don't know if anyone stopped him and said that. Be nice if someone did. And my thing is, as far as an apology that he owes everyone, I feel like, again, deleting those videos was a good first step. He did it more so people couldn't get dirt on him, so he did it for the wrong reason, I believe. But I feel like him purging his channel of any inappropriate or wrong behavior would be a good first step. I feel like his apology to the public should be something that, I mean, sincerely apologizes for everything, but then if he really wants to get personal about those he most frankly harmed in some way or another, you know, it should be private. You know, it should be explicit enough in the public viewing that if anyone viewed his material, it changes their mindset. Oh, it's wrong. What I saw was wrong. This isn't good. But then he should also do some private apologies as well. And lastly, he should get very far away from Jeffree Star. Very far away from Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star is not going to change, will not change, at least for a long time, it seems like. The man will always be drama of one kind or another, and that's just going to cause problems around him, always, and anyone that decides to be connected with him. So yeah, this has been my whole little 25-minute rant. Holy cow, no wonder my throat is dry. But yes, and I guess I should introduce myself. My name is... it's the internet. So I guess. Call me Wafron Says. I don't know. Screen name, username. Call me whatever you want. I just don't want to put too much personal information on the internet. So yeah. Thanks for watching.